Hey, you notice what they're saying about you? The word's out. It's spreading faster than smoke in a room full of secrets. They're calling you straight up gangster. Not the kind that's reckless, not the one that crumbles under pressure, but the kind that makes pressure look like a joke. They can't even explain it properly. They just feel it. That controlled danger around you. That composure that makes chaos look clumsy. They can't put their finger on it, but they know one thing for sure. You stayed classy while they lost control. Yeah, they lost themselves, trying to get a reaction out of you. And you stayed still, calm, measured. That's what triggers them most. The way you don't break character when everything around you starts shaking. The way you make dignity look dangerous. The way you move without noise, without begging for recognition, without flinching. You just act, you just execute, and it works. Look at them now, whispering like kids who found out the monster under the bed is real. They're not sure whether to fear you, respect you, or imitate you. You got them twisted, confused, trying to label something they don't understand. They expected chaos. You gave grace. They expected a meltdown. You gave mastery. That's what gangster truly means, owning your emotions instead of being owned by them. They thought your silence was weakness, your calm was surrender. But when the dust cleared, you were still standing while they were choking on their own noise. You didn't prove yourself through rage. You proved it through restraint. You didn't have to say a word. You let the world reveal itself by how it reacted to you. Every rumor, every whisper, every sideways glance, they're all proof of one thing. You've become the mirror that exposes everyone's insecurities. People talk most about the ones who show them what they're not. And you've become that reflection, the one that reveals where discipline begins and weakness ends. They don't hate you because you hurt them. They hate you because you didn't give them the satisfaction of seeing you lose control. They wanted you loud, impulsive, messy. You gave them poise, calculation, precision. You gave them something they can't replicate, composure under pressure. That's what separates you from the noise. Every room you walk into, they feel it before you speak. That quiet authority, that effortless balance. It's not the kind of energy that asks for attention. It demands it. They sense that every word you speak is filtered through clarity. Every move you make has weight. That's what unnerves them. You don't waste energy on performance. You move like someone who's already seen the outcome. And maybe you have. Because people like you don't operate on impulse. They operate on insight. You see 10 steps ahead, and that's why they keep falling for the traps they set for you. They keep trying to measure your strength through noise, through gossip, through manipulation, but you measure strength through endurance. While they exhaust themselves performing, you conserve energy perfecting. That's why they call you gangster now. Not because you act tough, but because you don't have to. You exude something raw, untamed, and yet perfectly controlled. You know how rare that is? To look unbothered while commanding every ounce of attention in the room. That's what separates icons from imitators. That's why people whisper when you pass by. They can't decide if they should admire you or protect themselves from you. You stayed clean in a dirty game. You stayed grounded when everything around you tried to pull you down. You didn't fight fire with fire. You let them burn themselves out while you kept your air pure. And that patience, that timing, that subtle dominance, it's driving them insane. They can't stand that you make discipline look beautiful, that you make control look dangerous. They thought losing their temper made them powerful. They thought shouting louder meant victory, but you. You turned stillness into strategy. You turned class into a weapon. You showed them that the real boss isn't the one who reacts. It's the one who dictates the tempo. You noticed that, right? How every time you keep calm, someone else starts to panic. How every time you stay focused, someone else starts to unravel. That's not coincidence. That's power distribution. You hold your center so tight that everyone else loses theirs. And the moment they do, you've already won. You don't need to prove dominance when you embody it. Every controlled breath, every measured pause, every choice not to engage. Those are power moves. Not everyone sees it, but the smart ones do. The ones with real awareness can tell what's happening. They see that composure is your weapon of choice. They see that the loud ones burn out quick while you build momentum in silence. They're confused because they can't figure out your formula. They can't understand how someone stays calm when insulted, how someone keeps smiling while being tested, how someone still elevates while being envied. They assume it's luck, but it's not. It's practice, it's mastery. You trained yourself to stay balanced when others break. You learned the art of holding your ground when others beg for validation. You're not playing their game, you redefined it. And that's what makes them uneasy. Because how do you compete with someone who doesn't even acknowledge competition? They tried to drag you into chaos, and you refused the invitation. You let their noise fade into background music, while you kept your focus forward. You learned the difference between reaction and response, between noise and power, between impulse and influence. And that's why people keep saying your name like it's an event. Because it is. You're not part of the crowd. You're the pause in the conversation, the energy shift when you enter a space. You're that rare combination of calm and intensity that people can't categorize. That's what drives them crazy. They can't define what they can't dominate. They envy the way you walk away from nonsense without losing your cool. They study the way you handle disrespect without stooping to it. You move like someone who knows that time is the real weapon, and you don't waste it. Every second, every word, every gesture is calculated. You don't talk to prove a point, you move to make one. And that scares people who thrive on chaos, because you remind them that chaos only works when others participate. You chose not to participate, and that decision shattered their entire playbook. Think about it. How many of them have tried to bait you into arguments, into emotional traps, into drama disguised as conversation? And every time, you simply smiled, nodded, and stepped aside. That's psychological warfare disguised as grace. That's gangster energy disguised as composure. You didn't destroy them with aggression. You let their own immaturity implode. That's what they can't comprehend. Control is louder than rage. Precision is louder than performance. And you've mastered both. People underestimate how hard it is to remain calm when everything's testing you. They think control comes easy. They don't realize it takes discipline, patience, and years of self-awareness to get to that point. You paid the price quietly, in moments no one saw. When everyone else was reacting, you were studying. When everyone else was talking, you were learning. When everyone else was breaking down, you were building up. And now that the results are visible, they want to call it luck. But deep down, they know. They know it's mastery, disguised as humility. Look closely, and you'll see it, the shift in their energy when you walk in. Some tense up, some pretend not to notice, some overcompensate with forced smiles. They feel that controlled danger radiating off you. Not violence, not threat, just power they can't decode. You earned that through discipline, not drama. You earned that by walking away from what didn't serve you, by holding your emotions like a blade, sharp, but never reckless. You became the example of what it means to lead yourself before leading others. That's why they whisper. That's why they can't stop talking. They'll say you changed. They'll say you became distant, cold, detached. But that's projection. They mistake peace for arrogance because they've never felt it. You stopped giving reactions that feed their chaos, and now they're starving for your attention. You don't owe them clarity. You don't owe them explanation. You already gave them the lesson, how to stay composed while being provoked. Whether they learn from it or break under it is not your responsibility. You're not here to fix people who enjoy being broken. You're here to master yourself. And that, right there, is what gangster means. See, real strength isn't measured by how loud you can be when you're angry. It's how calm you can be when you're disrespected. Real dominance isn't about control over others. It's about control over yourself. You've learned how to hold your composure even when provoked, how to remain clear when emotions flare, how to respond with intelligence instead of impulse. That's why they study you in silence, even if they act like they don't care. You've become the living example of what control under pressure looks like. That's something they can't fake. That's something they can't copy, no matter how hard they try. They'll throw words, assumptions, traps. They'll try to corner you with lies and manipulation, but every attempt fails for the same reason. You don't give them what they want. They want drama. You give distance. They want chaos. You give clarity. They want reaction. You give awareness. Every time you choose not to fall for it, you take back the power they thought they had. That's why their envy burns so bright. It's not because you did something to them. It's because you didn't. You didn't descend. You didn't break. You didn't play small to fit their expectations. You just stayed centered. And that calm, that poise, it's their undoing. Your reputation now precedes you. People use your name to describe what composure looks like under fire. You've become the blueprint for how to win without arguing, how to dominate without aggression, how to make power look elegant. You didn't force it, you became it through consistency. Every time you chose focus over distraction, you built that energy. Every time you chose silence over shouting matches, you built that aura. Every time you chose patience over impulse, you built that control. It wasn't luck, it was discipline, repetition, vision. Now they look at you with a mix of fear and fascination. They can't hate you outright, because your results speak louder than their opinions. They can't challenge you directly, because your composure disarms confrontation. They're trapped between wanting to discredit you and wanting to be you. That's the price of self-mastery. It turns admirers into imitators, imitators into critics, and critics into fans again. The cycle never ends, but you remain the constant, the one who never flinches, the one who never lowers themselves to prove worth. And that's what makes this era yours. You've shown that in a world addicted to noise, the one who stays composed becomes the authority. You've proven that chaos isn't strength. It's insecurity exposed. You've become the quiet standard everyone secretly measures themselves against. They won't admit it out loud, but they feel it. You set the rhythm now. You define the temperature. You decide when things move and when they pause. That's real dominance. Control over yourself that extends outward without needing permission. They'll keep testing you, keep gossiping, keep hoping you'll slip. But you won't. Because you've learned that consistency outlasts confusion. You've learned that self-control turns pressure into power. And that's why they call you Gangster. Not because you break rules, but because you mastered yourself so well that the rules bend around you. You're not trying to prove anything anymore. You're just existing in your full power. And that existence alone unsettles people who still depend on reactions to feel alive. So let them talk. Let them whisper. Let them project. You already know the truth. They only speak about what they can't reach. They only target what intimidates them. They only envy what reminds them of their own lack of discipline. Keep your head high. Keep your tone even. Keep your pace steady. You don't need to chase respect. You generate it. And the ones who can't handle that will eventually fade into the background noise you've already learned to ignore. Because here's the thing. They thought this was about image. About who looked stronger, who shouted louder. But the longer this goes on, the more they realize it's about endurance. You've outlasted the gossip, outsmarted the games, outgrown the triggers. You've become the definition of controlled danger. You don't need validation. You are the validation. And the same people who laughed before now speak your name with caution. That's transformation. That's growth. That's evolution of power through patience. And as this chapter continues to unfold, you'll see it clearer than ever. The world's reaction is nothing but reflection. The more calm you remain, the more chaos reveals itself. The more centered you stand, the more the world spins to keep up. And soon they'll realize it's not luck, it's mastery. Not attitude, but awareness. Not noise, but precision. That's why you're being talked about. That's why your presence feels heavier now. That's why they whisper your name like it's both a compliment and a warning. See, what they call Gangster isn't about aggression. It's about elegance that carries authority. It's that blend of confidence and composure that makes the room bend toward your rhythm. You never announced your arrival, but somehow you became the moment everyone's reacting to. And what gets them the most? You don't ask for validation. It comes naturally. You don't demand respect. It organizes itself around you. You've crossed into that rare space where your very presence rewrites the hierarchy. They can't understand how someone can stay classy while commanding power. But that's exactly what you've mastered. They talk because they can't process it. They whisper because they can't replicate it. They're frustrated because everything they tried to use against you became proof of your balance. You never took the bait. You never stooped to their level. You played the long game, built on patience, awareness, and timing. And now that it's paying off, they're shaking under the weight of your restraint. You made patience look dangerous. You made humility look like a crown. And now, they call you Gangster, not because you rebelled, but because you evolved. You became untouchable not by distance, but by discipline. The funniest part, they once mocked your calm, said you were too quiet, too composed, too strategic. They said it like it was an insult, not realizing it was your training ground. Every silent season was sharpening you. Every test was teaching you how to remain grounded when others lost their footing. And now those same people are stumbling over their own words, trying to explain how you pulled it off. The truth is, you didn't pull anything off. You simply stopped reacting and started directing. You turned emotion into energy, energy into execution, and execution into evidence. That's why they're mad. Because while they were performing, you were transforming. Look closer. There's a difference between envy and admiration. Admiration inspires imitation. Envy triggers collapse. And right now, they're collapsing under the weight of comparison. You didn't challenge them, your growth did. You didn't insult them, your discipline did. You didn't fight for dominance, your self-respect did it for you. That's what happens when someone moves from reacting to ruling. You shifted from proving your worth to embodying it, and that's what separates you. That's what makes people stare longer than they should, whisper things they won't admit, and study your every move as if decoding a mystery. You see, control is an art form. Most people think it's suppression. It's not. It's refinement. It's taking raw emotion and channeling it into precision. You've learned that lesson, and now you move like someone who's rehearsed in grace under fire. You walk through the noise with the confidence of someone who knows chaos can't touch class. That's your edge. That's your code. You operate at a frequency higher than their distractions. That's why they can't reach you. That's why their reactions sound like echoes, distant, desperate, irrelevant. And while they gossip, you're plotting. While they compete, you're calculating. While they rant online, you're refining offline. That's what makes your power moves unstoppable. They're invisible until they're undeniable. By the time people notice, it's too late. The stage is already set. The outcome already decided. You didn't announce it. You just arrived with results. And now, they're scrambling to adjust, pretending they saw it coming. But they didn't. You were 3 steps ahead before they even knew there was a game being played. Let them think it's luck. Let them tell themselves stories to feel comfortable. Deep down, they know the truth. You earned every inch of this dominance. You earned it through sleepless nights, quiet focus, long stretches of discipline no one clapped for. They only see the glow-up, not the grind. They see the refinement, not the repetition. But that's fine. You don't owe anyone the backstage pass to your evolution. The less they know, the more they assume, and assumptions have always been your camouflage. You built your legacy in the shadows of their underestimation. Now look at them, eyes darting, voices cracking, pretending your rise doesn't affect them. But it does. You've disrupted their narrative. You've forced them to rewrite the story where you were supposed to lose. That's what being classy under pressure does. It rewires perception. It turns disbelief into belief, and critics into spectators. They can't argue with composure because composure never lies. You can fake attitude, but you can't fake balance. You can mimic style, but not substance. That's the gap that keeps them triggered. The realization that no matter how loud they get, they can't outshine calm. You didn't plan to make enemies. You just refused to stay small. And in a world where mediocrity loves company, excellence is offensive. The moment you stopped explaining yourself, you became a threat. The moment you started moving with precision, you became unpredictable. They can't decode you because you don't fit into the emotional chaos that defines them. You think strategically, you act intentionally, you execute flawlessly. That's what gangster really means, having control over your narrative when everyone else is losing theirs. People will start to study your reactions more than your achievements. They'll watch how you handle pressure, how you respond to hate, how you carry yourself through uncertainty. And every time you remain unbothered, they'll spiral further because they can't match what they can't mirror. You've become a masterclass in emotional discipline, and that's something most people will never learn. They'll imitate your tone, but not your timing. They'll copy your phrases, but not your patience. They'll steal your style, but not your substance. That's the difference between real and reactive. You're the original. They're rehearsing your old moves, thinking they're breaking new ground. You've become a living paradox, calm but commanding, polite but powerful, silent but unforgettable. And that contradiction messes with them, because society told them power has to be loud, that dominance has to look aggressive. But you redefined the aesthetic. You made control look effortless. You turned composure into charisma. You made subtlety louder than noise. That's why you walk through chaos untouched. That's why they watch from the sidelines, wondering how you keep winning without fighting. You're not chasing influence, you're building gravitational pull. People orbit around your energy without you having to move. That's why they say your power moves are unstoppable. You don't push, you attract. You don't demand, you command. That's the difference between force and flow. You mastered the art of letting people reveal themselves, while you simply stay present. They call that manipulation, but it's just observation. You've learned to let their own energy betray them, while yours remains centered. They can't understand why they keep losing emotional control around you. It's because you represent everything they lack. You remind them what self-respect looks like. You expose how fragile they are when someone doesn't play into their games. Every time you choose grace over gossip, it offends their chaos. Every time you choose focus over drama, it exposes their distractions. You didn't insult them, you held up a mirror. And what they see in it makes them uncomfortable. That's not your fault. That's their awakening. There's a calmness about you that intimidates people more than any threat ever could. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. You've seen too much to be shaken by opinions. You've survived too much to be moved by noise. Your emotions used to be your weakness, but now they're your weapon, aimed carefully, controlled perfectly. You've learned that maturity isn't about reacting less, it's about reacting right. You've become so stable that instability feels foreign around you. That's why people act strange in your presence. They sense something they can't name. Control. Your consistency has become their discomfort. Every day you show up, refined, focused, and unshaken. You remind them how scattered they are. Every decision you make with grace challenges the idea that success has to be aggressive. You're not proving anyone wrong anymore. You're proving yourself right. You're not chasing their approval, you're chasing excellence. And every time you do, the gap widens. The one between people who need validation to feel powerful, and people like you who create it naturally. It's ironic how they once laughed when you said, patience wins. Now they're learning the hard way that timing is everything. You don't rush opportunities, you align with them. You don't force outcomes, you prepare for them. That's what makes your moves seem unstoppable. It's not speed, it's precision. It's not luck, it's alignment. They operate in impulse, you operate in rhythm. You're not ahead because you moved faster. You're ahead because you moved smarter. Watch how they scramble now, trying to copy your flow, trying to imitate your discipline, trying to mimic your confidence. But imitation has a vibration of desperation. It exposes itself over time. You can always tell who's moving from authenticity and who's moving from insecurity. Your path has no shortcuts because it's built on self-control. That's the part they skip. That's why they crumble when pressure hits. You've endured pressure so long, it turned into peace. You've worn focus like armor so long, it's second nature. They can't compete with that. And while they're trying to decipher your calm, life keeps rewarding you for it. Opportunities align, the right people notice, The wrong ones fall away. You didn't have to manipulate outcomes. You just had to maintain composure long enough for everything fake to disqualify itself. That's why you win. That's why they lose control. You built stability while they built noise. And when noise fades, only stability remains. Remember this, class doesn't beg for attention. It earns it through integrity. Power doesn't scream. It speaks once and gets remembered. You've reached the stage where your silence carries more authority than their shouting matches ever could. You're not flexing, you're functioning. You're not posturing, you're performing. You're not reacting to the world. The world is reacting to you. And that shift, that invisible transfer of power, is what everyone feels but can't explain. They'll label it however they want: mystery, arrogance, intimidation. But it's none of those things. It's mastery. It's emotional command. It's the unshakable confidence that comes from knowing you've already proven what needed to be proven. You don't need revenge. You have results. You don't need validation. You have vision. You don't need attention. You have alignment. That's the equation they'll never solve. Every time you remain graceful under attack, they lose another piece of control. Every time you stay calm in chaos, they feel smaller. That's not because you're trying to make them feel that way. It's because your discipline exposes their disorder. You became the walking reminder that composure is power. And now, the ones who once dismissed you can't stop watching. They study your posture, your tone, your movement, your aura, hoping to figure out how you do it. But they never will, because what they're looking for can't be copied. It's not a pose, it's a presence. It's earned through struggle, not stolen through imitation. That's why your power moves are unstoppable. They come from clarity, not chaos. You don't waste energy proving points. You conserve it creating impact. You're the kind of person who can walk through a storm and look untouched. People can't stand that because they mistake grace for luck. But grace is just discipline, polished by experience. You faced the same struggles they did. You just handled them differently. You didn't break. You didn't panic. You stayed composed, and now composure is your currency. And as you continue forward, the pattern will repeat. More eyes will turn. More whispers will spread. More envy will surface. But that's the cost of being unshaken. You're not meant to be understood by those still addicted to drama. You're meant to inspire them through confusion. They'll either hate you or learn from you. Either way, you win. Because every reaction you provoke is proof of impact. Every triggered soul is evidence of your influence. Every envious glance confirms what you've built can't be ignored. So let them talk. Let them twist stories, misinterpret actions, and exaggerate moments. You've moved past defending yourself. Your work speaks the language they'll never understand: results. You've outgrown their approval because you've aligned with your own truth. You don't need the world to call you powerful. You already are. And that realization, that self-certainty, that quiet confidence, it's what keeps you untouchable. And as you keep moving, you'll notice it, the transformation in real time. The same ones who doubted you will quote you. The same ones who envied you will imitate you. The same ones who mocked your patience will try to borrow your calm. But you'll stay focused, because Gangster isn't about proving superiority. It's about mastering self-control while the world loses its balance. You stayed classy while they lost control. You stayed centered while they spiraled. You turned envy into evidence. And now, the proof stands tall, written in every reaction, in every stunned silence when your name drops. You've become the pulse they can't ignore, the rhythm they can't match. You moved through the chaos with elegance, and that elegance broke their patterns. You didn't chase acknowledgement. It followed you naturally. You didn't demand respect. It rearranged itself around you. That's what happens when grace meets grit. That's when people realize Gangster isn't about rebellion. It's about refinement under pressure. You didn't conquer by force. You conquered by consistency. And now, they're left watching the aftermath of your calm domination. Look at how the landscape shifted. The same mouths that once whispered now stay quiet, in awe. The same hands that threw shade now clap in confusion. They thought your class was weakness until it outlasted their fury. They thought composure was passive until it crushed their noise. You didn't change the game, you changed the standard. You redefined what power looks like when it's polished, not performed. You became the example people reference when they talk about control. Control not just of your environment, but of yourself. And that's something they'll never fully grasp, because most people only feel powerful when they're loud. You became powerful by staying precise. They'll talk about your patience now, how it unnerved everyone. They'll replay those moments where they expected you to explode, but instead you smiled and kept moving. They'll analyze that posture, that stillness, that measured tone, and realize it was strategy all along. You didn't waste time proving you were right. You invested time becoming undeniable. That's what rattled them. The more they tried to provoke chaos, the more your calm made them look foolish. You weaponized discipline. You turned respect into reflex. And now, the same world that once underestimated you studies every move you make like it's scripture. There's something magnetic about control. It draws attention. It demands curiosity. People can't help but watch someone who doesn't flinch. You became that. While others react, you read. While others complain, you create. While others crumble, you compose. That's Gangster. The ability to lead without barking orders, to dominate without drama, to walk into any space and have presence without announcement. You don't force people to respect you. They feel compelled to. And that unspoken authority is what separates you from the rest. They don't talk about your emotions anymore. They talk about your execution. They don't debate your potential. They discuss your precision. Because when you mastered restraint, you unlocked clarity. And clarity changes everything. It's what makes your timing perfect, your moves deliberate, your success repeatable. You've turned composure into currency, calm into capital. You don't need to gamble with emotions. You invest them wisely. That's why your results last while others fade. You've noticed it too, the shift in how they approach you. The fake confidence softens when you speak. The subtle arrogance turns cautious when you glance. You became their unspoken reminder of what maturity looks like. Every conversation bends slightly to your tempo, because they know you don't move unless it matters, and that frightens them. They can't control what they can't predict, and you stopped being predictable long ago. You move like water, graceful but uncontainable, and that's what keeps them on edge. You've built a reputation that doesn't rely on performance. You don't need to act powerful, you are. You don't need to appear wise. You've earned wisdom through scars and silence. Every setback became data. Every betrayal became discipline. You learned when to engage and when to disappear. You realized not every battle deserves your brilliance. That's what separates real control from reactive pride. They fought for attention. You fought for peace. And peace once mastered, becomes the loudest statement of all. So when they say, "You're straight up gangster," it's not just slang, it's recognition. It's acknowledgement of someone who survived the fire without burning their integrity. You didn't shout your strength, you showed it through patience. You didn't flash your wins, you let them speak through consistency. You carried yourself with class while others tripped over their emotions. That's why the energy shifts when you walk in. People sense when someone has conquered themselves. It's rare, it's powerful, it's unforgettable. And the envy, let them keep it. It's confirmation. Their discomfort is your validation. Every time they react to your calm, it shows you've mastered influence without manipulation. You're not feeding off attention, you're feeding off alignment. You're not controlling people, you're controlling your response to them. That's the highest level of dominance. To know you could destroy, but instead you refine. To know you could expose, but instead you elevate. That's what real class looks like. Now they look at you differently. The tone shifts when they mention your name. There's a pause, a calculation, a quiet respect. You're not the target anymore. You're the threshold. You became the measure of balance, the reference for restraint, the model of modern power. Not the loud kind, not the desperate kind, but the steady kind that endures. People are beginning to understand that control isn't about suppressing emotion, it's about directing it. And you've turned that into an art form. They'll keep talking, they'll keep wondering how you stayed so composed while everything around you demanded chaos. They'll keep trying to replicate what can't be copied, but deep down, they already know. You stayed classy while they lost control. You stayed grounded while they got swept away by emotions they couldn't handle. You built stability while they built illusions. And in the end, stability always wins. It doesn't crash, it doesn't fade, it doesn't depend on applause, it simply endures. And maybe that's what scares them the most. Because endurance is silent proof. It doesn't argue, it doesn't justify, it simply remains. You remained, through envy, through rumors, through every test designed to break your rhythm. You stayed intact. You proved that control is louder than chaos, that calm is sharper than anger, that patience is faster than panic. You didn't match their energy. You elevated above it. That's why they're still talking. That's why they still can't process how you pulled it off. You became a mirror again, the kind that doesn't flatter but exposes, the kind that reflects truth so clearly it makes others uncomfortable. And you don't apologize for that clarity. You don't dim it to make others feel safe. Because you've earned this peace through pain, through trial, through endless self-work that no one saw. You've bled for balance. You've sacrificed for serenity. You've fought battles in silence just to maintain that grace in public. And that journey, that discipline, is the real definition of gangster. Your power moves are unstoppable because they're built on control, not chaos. You don't swing wildly, you strike with intention. You don't rush results, you build foundations. You don't crave validation, you cultivate vision. That's why no one can touch what you've built. They can talk, they can envy, they can speculate, but they can't replicate. Because they skipped the part where you suffered with dignity, where you practiced humility, where you learned to wait. And that waiting is what made you unbreakable. So now, as the noise fades and the recognition grows, remember what got you here. Not ego, but elegance. Not noise, but nuance. Not reaction, but refinement. You rose above not because you were trying to prove something, but because you refused to be pulled down. You didn't compete. You cultivated. You didn't scream for respect. You radiated it. You didn't mirror their chaos. You modeled composure. And that's the legacy now. When they talk about balance, they'll talk about you. When they mention control, they'll mention your name. You've become the blueprint for power dressed in patience, class armored with confidence, control fused with charisma. The energy around you speaks volumes without a single word. That's how legends are built, not through noise, but through precision. You stayed classy while they lost control. You stayed grounded while they drowned in emotion. You didn't just survive their envy, you converted it into momentum. That's what unstoppable looks like. That's what real gangster means. The kind that doesn't need validation to move, doesn't need revenge to win, doesn't need attention to exist. Just alignment, grace, and unshakable focus.